Dear viewers, this is the story of a young female nurse who lived strictly by the rules until she met a heart failure patient whose final wish would change both of their lives forever. She thought it was just another ordinary day at work, but what began at the patient's bedside turned into something far deeper, a bond, a connection, and a love she never expected, yet could not walk away from. Stay with me until the end, because this story will touch your heart in ways you will not expect. If you love stories filled with real emotion and unforgettable moments, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments where you are watching from. Let's begin.
It was almost midnight when I heard the BP monitor in room 6 start beeping fast. I was halfway through updating my patient notes, but that sound makes every nurse move without thinking. I dropped my pen and ran. When I pushed the door open, Mr. Adrian was struggling to breathe. He was only 35, but the sickness in his heart made him look older in that moment. The doctor said it was heart failure, the kind that steals your breath and strength little by little. "Stay with me, Adrian," I said, checking his oxygen. His eyes flicked to mine, full of fear and pain. I pressed the call button for backup, but I did not wait. I started the oxygen flow higher, adjusted the mask, and began checking his pulse. 2 nurses rushed in, followed by the night doctor. They worked fast, giving him meds, trying to bring his BP back up. For a while, the monitor screamed, and the room felt too small for all our fear. Then, the line steadied. The beeping slowed. He was still with us. When it was over, the others left to attend to other patients, but I stayed. I could not bring myself to leave him alone. His skin was cold, so I warmed his hands and mine. I changed his IV bag, wiped his forehead, and made sure his pillow was right. He watched me quietly. "Why do you care this much?" he asked in a weak voice. "Because you're my patient," I said, simply. He smiled faintly. "I have no wife, no child. Nobody stays, but you did." I stayed long after my shift ended. I sat beside him in the dim light, listening to the machines and his slow breathing. I told myself it was just my job, but something in his eyes made it feel like more. And that night, I did not know he was about to ask me for something that would change my life forever. When I came back to work the next day, the first thing I saw was Mr. Adrian's smile. It wasn't the weak smile of a patient pretending to be okay. It was real. His eyes lit up like he had been waiting for me. "You came," he said softly, as if surprised. "Of course," I replied, walking in with his breakfast tray. "I'm your nurse. I'm supposed to be here." But as I helped him sit up and held the spoon to his lips, I knew this was more than just duty. He ate slowly, watching me between bites, like he was memorizing my face. When I tried to leave, he asked me to stay a little longer. So I stayed. I brought him lunch. We talked while he ate about his travels, about how he built his business, about the fact that he had no family. He listened to my stories too, asking about my childhood and what made me choose nursing. Every time I laughed, his eyes softened like the sound was something rare. And by evening, I was still there, bringing him dinner and fluffing his pillows. My shift had ended hours ago, but I didn't want to leave. Night settled in, and the room grew quiet except for the soft hum of the machines. I was sitting beside his bed, scrolling through my phone, when he said in a low voice, "Maya, can you feel it?" I looked up, confused. "What feel?" He leaned forward slightly, his eyes locked on mine. "This connection between us. I can't explain it, but it's there. You've been here every moment I needed someone, and it feels like fate." My breath caught. He smiled faintly. "I love you." For a second, I didn't know what to say. Billionaire or not, he was still my patient. But in that moment, I couldn't deny it. I felt it too. And deep down, I knew that whatever was growing between us was going to change both our lives forever. It was almost morning when I finally stood up from the chair. "Adrian," I said softly, "I should go home and change my clothes. I'll be back before lunch." He nodded, but his eyes followed me to the door like he didn't want me to leave. I walked down the quiet hospital hallway toward the exit. As I passed the side corridor near the staff room, I heard voices. At first, I didn't pay attention, until one sentence made my whole body freeze. "We'll give him the injection tonight. He won't last till morning." My heart pounded in my ears. They were talking about Adrian. I pressed my back to the wall, afraid to breathe. Two men walked past, one in a nurse's uniform, the other in casual clothes. They didn't see me. When they were gone, I ran back toward Adrian's room, my legs trembling. He was half asleep when I entered, but I shook his shoulder gently. "Adrian, listen to me. Please don't let anyone give you an injection unless it's from me. Do you hear me? No one. They're planning to hurt you." His eyes slowly opened, and I saw fear in them, but also something else. Sadness. His face looked pale again, his lips dry. "Maya, if you come back and I'm gone, don't forget to be fine. Take care of yourself. Promise me." I shook my head, tears burning my eyes. "Don't talk like that. You'll be here when I come back." He gave me a weak smile. "But if you find me still here, it means God still wants us together." The lump in my throat was too heavy to swallow. I stood there staring at him, my tears dripping onto the bedsheet. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't just about saving a patient anymore. It was about saving someone I had started to love. I was about to leave when something told me to stay close. My heart wouldn't let me go far. So I hid behind the curtain near the corner of the ward, watching Adrian's door. Minutes later, a male doctor I didn't recognize walked in. His face was calm, too calm. In his hand was a syringe. Adrian looked tired, his eyes half closed. "What's that for?" he asked weakly. "Just something to help you rest," the doctor said. My chest tightened. I stayed hidden, holding my breath. The doctor injected the medicine into Adrian's IV. Then he checked the monitor, whispered something to another man at the door, and left. I waited until their footsteps faded and ran back to Adrian's room. His pulse was weak, his heartbeat slow. "No, no, no!" I pressed the call button and started shaking him gently. "Adrian, stay with me, please!" Tears blurred my vision. "Don't you dare leave me. Please, you promised." His eyes' lips fluttered, and his voice came out in a broken whisper. "Maya, they're trying to kill me. I never had a heart problem before. It was only after I came into this hospital. They started injecting me with drugs to make me weak, to take my life." My hands froze on his arm. "But why? Why would they do that to you?" He took a slow, painful breath, his eyes locking onto mine. His grip on my hand loosened. The heart monitor beeped slower. "Adrian, stay with me," I begged, my tears falling on his blanket. "Don't tell me now that I'm about to lose you." He opened his mouth to speak, and the monitor made a sharp, flat sound.
My tears wouldn't stop. I held his cold hand and whispered, "I love you. Please stay. Please don't leave me." He tried to speak, but his voice was too weak. I stayed beside him all night, checking his chart, adjusting his drip, and watching his breathing. I refused to let anyone near him unless I was there. Hours later, in the quiet of the night, he turned his head toward me. His voice was barely a whisper. "Maya, is this how I will die? Without a wife? Without a child?" Tears rolled down his cheeks. I gripped his hand tighter. "No, I won't let that happen. Adrian, I can give you a child. I love you. I want to have all your children. I want to carry your name. Please, don't die." His lips curved into the faintest smile, his eyes softening. How are we going to do that now?" "Don't worry," I said, brushing his hair back. "You just rest. I'll take care of it." That night, I spoke to a trusted fertility specialist I knew in the hospital. Quietly, without letting anyone else find out, We collected his sperm and mixed it with my egg. The IVF was done in secret. Weeks passed. Adrian was still in the hospital bed, his body weak, but his eyes brighter whenever I entered the room. One morning, I walked in with a smile I couldn't hide. "What's making you smile like that?" he asked. I sat beside him, took his hand and whispered, "I'm pregnant, Adrian. I'm carrying your child." His eyes widened. How did you really do it?" I nodded. "I told you, I'll give you a reason to fight." We did IVF. Our baby is growing inside me. For the first time in weeks, real happiness filled his face. He closed his eyes and let out a shaky breath. "Maya, now I have something to live for." Then his voice grew serious. "I need to tell you the truth, the reason they want me dead. I saw something powerful people are hiding, and now they'll do anything to stop it from coming out." Adrian's hand trembled slightly in mine, his eyes darted to the door, as if someone might be listening. "Maya, I didn't get sick by accident. They made me sick because of what I saw." I leaned closer. "What did you see?" He swallowed hard. "I was in a meeting at my company's headquarters. One of our partners, a powerful medical group, was discussing a trial for a new heart drug. On paper, it looked safe, but I overheard two of their top doctors say it was designed to fail, so they could sell a more expensive treatment later. They had already tested it on patients in poor countries, and people were dying. Children, old people, and no one was talking about it." My chest tightened. "That's horrible, but why target you?" "Because I recorded the conversation," he said, "and I refused to be part of it. I told them I would expose them if they didn't stop." The beeping from his heart monitor sped up. His voice grew urgent. 2 days later, I ended up here. I thought I came in with food poisoning, but they've been slowly giving me drugs to damage my heart. The doctor you saw last night works for them. If they kill me, the recording dies with me." I held his hand tighter. "Where is the recording?" His eyes searched mine. "I can't keep it here. Maya, listen to me carefully. At my house, in my study, there's a painting of a lighthouse above the fireplace. Behind it is a small safe. The code is 0917. Inside, you'll find a flash drive, photographs, and copies of documents. That's everything. If something happens to me, take it and go straight to the press." He fumbled under his pillow and pulled out a small silver key. His fingers curled mine around it. "This is for the front door. Don't trust anyone, not even the police. The people after me have eyes everywhere." Just then, the door creaked open. A shadow stretched across the floor. My heart leaped. It was the same male doctor from last night. And this time, he wasn't alone. Another man in a dark suit followed him in, shutting the door quietly behind them. Adrian's grip tightened around my hand. His lips barely moved as he whispered, "If you love me, run now." The doctor walked in first, his face cold and calm. The man in the suit followed, his eyes scanning the room like a predator. I quickly slipped the small silver key into my pocket and straightened up, pretending to adjust Adrian's IV line. My heart was pounding so hard I thought they might hear it. "Good evening, nurse," the doctor said, forcing a smile. "We're here to run a quick check on the patient." "I already checked his vitals. He needs rest." The man in the suit stepped closer, his gaze locked on me. "Sometimes rest isn't enough," he said slowly. Adrian's hand twitched in mine, a silent warning. I squeezed back gently, telling him I understood. "I'll step out so you can do your work," I said, trying to sound casual. I moved toward the door, every muscle tense. The doctor gave a small nod, but the suited man didn't move aside. He stared at me for a moment, then finally shifted just enough for me to pass. As I walked into the hallway, I felt his eyes burning into my back. I didn't go straight to the nurse's station. Instead, I took a sharp turn into the staff lounge, closing the door behind me. My hands were shaking as I pulled out the key and stared at it. It felt heavier than it should, like it carried the weight of Adrian's life. I knew one thing. I had to get to his house. But I couldn't go now. If I left immediately, they'd know I was involved. So I waited. I kept working, checking on other patients, all while keeping an ear out for any noise from Adrian's room. Hours crawled by. By 2 a.m., the hallway was quiet again. I slipped out of the hospital through the side entrance, my hoodie pulled over my head. The cold city night air felt cold, but it couldn't wash away the fear crawling up my spine. Somewhere behind me, I thought I heard footsteps. I quickened my pace, clutching the key in my pocket. I didn't know if Adrian would still be alive by the time I returned, but I knew one thing. Whatever was inside that safe in his house was the only thing that could save him, and maybe me too.